Early slavery in the colonies. Have you ever wondered where the fruits and vegetables you eat come from? Who picks the apples, bananas, and oranges you eat for snack? Today, the people who pick fruits and vegetables are paid for their hard work. A long time ago, the people who did this work were not paid. Slaves are people that are forced to work without pay. During the early colonial time, slaves were forced by European colonists to do most of the work. This included picking the fruits and vegetables. When the British first came to North America, one of their main goals was to find ways to use the new land. They saw the New World as a great way to make money. The colonists grew, harvested, and sold crops in order to make money. Settlers in the southern colonies set up huge plantations. They grew many crops at the same time on these plantations. At first, the colonists forced Native Americans to work for them, but the Native Americans knew the land very well. They were able to escape easily. For a while, colonists also used indentured servants. Colonists paid for the servants to come to America. The servants would work without pay for several years in exchange. Eventually, the colonists could not find any more indentured servants. The colonists had to find another way to get workers. The colonists turned to Africa to find workers. They brought Africans to the New World on ships as indentured servants. They used the Africans to work on the plantations in the South. These Africans would work for a certain amount of time and then be set free to buy their own land. As colonies grew, more and more work needed to be done. Indentured slaves became harder to get. They were also more expensive. So laws were passed in the early 1700s that made slavery legal. This dramatically changed the quality of life for Africans. The southern United States is a lot warmer than the northern United States. This is one of the reasons why so many of the plantations of this time were located in the South. The warm temperatures and fertile soil made the South the perfect place to grow crops. Because of this, most of the slaves in the colonies worked on plantations in the South. Some slaves worked in people's houses. They did all of the chores that the colonists did not want to do themselves. Most slaves worked in the fields all day. The colonies that had the most slaves were South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, and Maryland. An important crop in the southern colonies was rice. The climate in South Carolina was perfect for growing rice. The Africans knew a lot about growing rice since they grew it back in Africa. The colonists took advantage of the Africans' farming knowledge and made them slaves so they could grow the rice. African slaves were also forced to work on tobacco, corn, and indigo plantations. Indigo is a plant that makes a blue dye. Those Levi jeans you're wearing, the blue color in the jeans came from an indigo plant. Today, almost everyone knows it is wrong to force a person for no pay. However, back in time, when the colonies were just forming, slavery was part of everyday life. Slaves were treated like property instead of like humans. Most slave owners did not think about how their slaves felt. If the slaves from the colonies saw the freedom that all Americans have today, they would probably not believe it.